Welcome to Cashflow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started.
They appreciated it because they knew I was paying attention. But what they didn't know is your boy was sweating and trying to make sure I got it right. So I'm like, yeah, they missed that. Good. Right? So that's what I did. What's up? How can I help?
So far, so good. But my question was, I was just want to ask about if you're still using the August app, because I saw it in one of the courses.
Got it. So August is like fourth on the totem pole day, right? Now you're in Norway, and August may actually end up being what you need to use because of the Federal Communications Commission. I don't know if it can go outside of the United States. I don't know if the company has done the proper registration for the tool outside of the United States. However, there are some new tools that have just been, that Apple has created, most of them via Logitech. I haven't had a chance to test them, but they did catch my attention because they have the proper security procedures and all this other stuff. If I'm happen to be in a situation, because I'm looking at some stuff too, I'm looking at 75 units over in Canada. That's where all this is coming from. Is like, oh, okay, well, if I've got to go outside of the US, what am I going to do at these levels for some of these other things? And there's some updates to Logitech equipment that Apple has made. And what you're looking for is something, it's called HomeKit Secure. HomeKit Secure.
All right, that's it so far.
Sinead?
My assistant was asking about Guesty and Hostfully.
Oh boy.
And Zapier. I was wondering, I'd heard them before, but I know we decided against them for some reason. I was wondering why.
The easiest way to put it is too expensive. First, they were too expensive from a dollar standpoint, and because you didn't have control over customer service the way that you would want it. Because you want to be able to control your customer experience department. You can build what they are much faster for much less. And even better.
How about Hostfully?
Hostfully is what we switched from before we switched to Wishbox. We were using Hostfully, but the guest usability of Hostfully was creating a challenge. So now with Wishbox, all of that stuff is getting automatically securely stored, collected. It's more of a checklist process. So everything is streamlined, whether you're coming to us from an OTA or direct booking.
Cool. Thanks.
I have a question. I just had a raising capital conversation with an old guest of mine at one of my units. They have a ranch in Texas, okay, and they're selling it, and it's due to close on April 4th. They want to work with me, and they're going to have about 1.5 million to work with. It's going to be a 1031 exchange. How is that going to work?
So here's what you need to know is find out how much of that is it's effectively called boot. There's usually something that's extra. And what is that amount of extra that's going to be there? Because that's interesting. So he doesn't have to put all of it in, or maybe the 1.2 is the boot, which is amazing. Maybe doing a 1031 and not all 1031s mean no cash. That's fine, but I would want to get clarity on that. Does that make sense?
On the 1.2, if it's boot or not?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, and then if it is, then cool, great. Then it's like every other thing you've just go right back to, you're going to go straight down, and you can almost have, I wish you guys would have been there. I had a checklist right in front of me, and I would just talk directly to people with my checklist. They appreciated it because they knew I was paying attention. But what they didn't know is your boy was sweating and trying to make sure I got it right. So I'm like, yeah, they missed that. Good. Right? So that's what I did. So to make sure I got it down. And that's if I were you, that's exactly what I would do. and I would have that investor identity conversation and kind of go from there.
And I did have the identity conversation with them, and they are definitely more in the passive realm of investors and like wanting to be super active.
That's awesome. That's exactly what you've been looking for, is it not?
Yep, it is.
What am I missing?
It was just like how do I approach that? It's a 1031 exchange, and because I was discussing some potential scenarios, and we were speculating that, okay, if let's just say hypothetically I found a 16 unit apartment building that we can get for 1.2. They roll over that 1.2 from their 1031, and then from there, they're able to like then transfer deed after that, or is it because it's a 1031? It's just, I'm not fully clear on how to.
None of that matters.
Structure.
Doesn't matter. There's nothing that matters. For all intents and purposes, if the 1.2 is boot, just pretend as though it's 1.2 in its checking account.
Okay, right. So I just basically have to find out if that 1.2 is boot or not.
Yes, that's why I was asking. Because if it's not, then you want to find out how much it is, because that'll tell you what he's actually or she's actually working with. That's really what it comes down to. You don't know what you're working with until you understand the character and classification, is what I call it, of the money. And that's what we're trying to find out.
Okay, so I'm 90% sure that that's the boot, because they did talk about their
sounds like it would be. But
yes,
you want
that's how much they want.
And then, you want them to go buy a building and you rent it out and then have them give you the loan for the equipment.
Oh, there. See? Yeah, that's the stuff I was thinking.
Thank you for tuning in to the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a rating and a review. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to CashFlowDiary.com to sign up for our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.